Shekinah, thanks for being with us today. We first encountered you way back in 2012, I believe it was, on Idols. We just really want to understand a little bit more about your backstory. What are some of the things that have contributed to making you you? When did you first know that you wanted to become a performer?
I think now that I have to answer the question a lot, I think about it, and it really was something that I was always drawn to. I was always drawn to music for some reason. Always drawn to everyone, Diana Ross, Lauryn Hill, Tamia, Cher, Britney Spears. And I think that also where my love for pop music came in. So if I have to think about it, it's really been something I've always wanted to do. But I really started thinking about it seriously, I guess, in high school, yeah.
And so that first year, Idols, you make it really far out of all of the thousands of people that wanted to be on the show. What was it like for you not moving on to be a finalist or to be, chosen as the idol that year?
The emotions, they go up and down, especially when you end up watching the competition from the outside and you're no more inside. It sounds crazy because you spend a short amount of time on the show, but it means so much to you. So seeing a new set of idols come out and people not talking about you anymore and not being invested in your journey, personally, it really takes a toll on you. But in the beginning, you're still basking in that ambience and in that glory. So it's kind of like, you're okay, people wanted you to win. So that's what kind of drives, your ego.
And so then you come back second year, top 6. And then after that, you moved to Joburg. And so what was that like for you that year, being now on your own and trying to make it?
I got to Joburg and it was absolutely not like that at all. Nobody wanted to speak to me. Nobody could help me all of a sudden. Nobody cared. Like there was a whole new set of idols, more interesting, more, better. On TV more, so on the forefront of everyone else's mind, and you're at home and nobody knows you. So I kind of slipped into a weird space where I also felt like I was like eating a lot and just chilling and not really moving and not really doing anything. So I had a lot of time to myself to sit and think. And I think in me doing nothing, when I thought I was going to do everything and become a superstar, yeah, it was really scary and really horrible, but I managed to change that trajectory with the same emotions of wanting to prove everyone wrong, So having, I don't know if I'm jumping, but having that horrible year and that constant reminder of my failures and my past, I just wanted to prove everyone wrong, including myself,
You work your whole life to become an overnight success.
100%.
That on the outside, it might look super fast to someone else, but really consistently for over 10 years now, you're young, but consistently you've been working on the music. So congratulations on that. So for you then, because you are in an industry, you've got a lot going on. It's very fast paced, a lot of demands. Like you said, someone in your face saying to you, I thought you were just a celebrity now. How do you stay grounded and in touch with yourself on a day-to-day basis? But how does Shekinah make sure that Shekinah is okay every day?
It's so hard. But what I've changed to feel better is one, to see a psychologist, to have that time to just speak about myself and be even more vain than it already is, and to debrief and have someone who's completely out of the situation.
Right.
Assess the situation. And the second thing is I now make sure, as much as my family have always been close to me, closer than ever, they remind me of who I am. And sometimes you really forget who you are, and not on purpose. It's just that everything else takes the forefront of your life and you take a back seat. So my sister always reminds me, you need a break, or you haven't had vitamins, or no, you're being a bit weird, or So for me, it's really important to have my family around.
You talk about seeing a psychologist, right? Was there pushback initially when you said that you were going to see a psychologist, or when people heard that? Because I know in my own experience in a lot of communities, African communities, Black communities generally, there is this idea that like, why are you going to see a psychologist?
100%. I think it's also like, why aren't you speaking to God about it? You know, and for me, I just was very lucky to be in a community where my Black friends were seeing psychologists, versus the Black girls that are not in those communities and those spaces. I was lucky to have a Khalaletzang and a Kasela seeing a psychologist, which influenced me to ultimately be like, who am I that I don't need to see a psychologist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so how have you managed that? I mean, you mentioned this thing of, what it means to have to be at the forefront if your weight fluctuates, et cetera. How, because it is a rather unforgiving industry, I think, especially for women. So how have you managed to deal with those things?
I've just let my weight fluctuate and turn my face the other way, like I didn't notice people were speaking about it. But really, it really has bothered me. It really does bother me. I'm always confronted with, okay, maybe if I was that small, I could do that, or maybe if I could speak my home language, I could sing like that, and I could reach that. But it's just trying to be like, damn, this is me. I'm overweight. I don't know my home language. I have this influence. I had this background, and just accepting that instead of trying to run away from it,
Right.
which is really what I think what I have been doing for the longest time is just trying to run away from my truth instead of accepting it and
Right.
being like, yeah, this is me. Yeah, I was 10 kgs lighter last year, but this is me today. And acknowledging that and knowing if I want to change it, I have to change it. And if it's true, it's true.
Right.
You know what I mean? I know it's horrible or whatever, but
Why is that horrible?
I don't know, for me it's like I'm not body positive and body conscious and like big girls rule and, no, I do have a problem with weight, It is it's a forever issue, but I have to deal with it in the ways that I can. Yeah.
Because on the one hand, weight is weight. It's like, I have a particular accent. You have a particular accent, right? It's part of who we are. And I think it seems as if what you're saying, and you can tell me if I'm mishearing you, is that if you decide to change your weight, you want to do it on your terms when you're ready, and not because anybody else says it should be
100%.
otherwise. And I think that's a really good approach.
100%. It has to be what you want to do.
How did you end up going to therapy? What got you to that point?
I don't know. I think I was going through like a big shift in my life where things weren't how I had known them to be. Stupid things like, superficial things like, not having a boyfriend anymore, or not having a full team anymore, or losing someone from the team, or just things when there's change, and not knowing how to deal with it. And also to be on the other side of like, okay, my album's out and it's done really well and now we need new music. I had a lot of anxiety and I couldn't really take a break because we booked shows in advance. And the only thing that I really could think of that was extra, and I had a lot of suggestions from my doctor, my friends, was to see a therapist and to try and kind of talk through what is going on to see how I can manage what is going on.
What were some of your expectations?
My expectations were, first of all, that they weren't gonna know me or know my situation, or my situation is unique and no one is going through what I'm going through. Another thing was also, I don't have the time for this. Everything else is more important than me sitting down and going through what I've been through or trying to figure out different things that have happened in my past that potentially may have affected where I am today, Things that you like subconsciously block out, So I didn't want to go through all of that. But really the past 5 or 6 times, I'd say have been like extremely life-changing to just sit with someone and be able to workshop scenarios that have happened. Sure, therapy really just put things into perspective for me, because I think sometimes I also struggle with wanting everything to happen and be perfect and having someone tell me that they're not. It's not. That's not how it works.
And how has it helped, or has it helped, I should ask, with your anxiety?
Yes, definitely. As like being 23 and 24, everyone has all these big plans, you know, and for the weekend, and it's like, oh, don't chicken out, don't be weak, don't be lame, you're not working tomorrow. Those are some of the issues I face because I'm so much in my head, and I'm like, no, I need to get rest because tomorrow's, you know, this or that or that or that. And I realized that that's actually just who I am. And I'm tired of feeling bad for who I am. And I'm able to be like, good night, guys. It's 5 a.m. I don't have to continue. I don't have to carry on turning up with you guys. I'm going to sleep. My feet are sore. I know I'm 24, but my feet get sore. And that's been a big deal for me, is not being pressured, you know, into these society norms of being a 23-year-old and thinking that 24-year-old and thinking that you can do this. Why do you want to go to bed? Why do you want to chill indoors? You're young. Life is now. It's happening. And after like just realizing that that's who I am and I need to stop trying to accommodate for who everyone else is, it's made a big difference, you know.
And that ability to create healthy boundaries, and as you say, to be more yourself, does that carry over into your business and other relationships as well, not just with your family?
100%. And I think that I learned how to do it in my business, for my business, before I learned how to do it for myself.
How did your anxiety manifest itself? What made you diagnose yourself with anxiety?
I diagnosed myself with anxiety. When I realized that I was getting scared to do the things that I love to do. I was anxious to go on stage, and I was anxious to be in studio and to make music and to record, because I've gotten all the success of these songs. Is this song going to be a success? And if it's not, then what am I going to do about it? I don't want to have a bad song on my record. I want everything to be amazing, and I just want to be great. And you know, so I realized, I'm like, nah, dude, you have anxiety because this is really simple. And that was a weird space to be at. And that's something I really literally had to try and workshop through with my psychologist. Like, why don't I want to do this? It's like this fear, you know, like this crippling fear, like really to the point where I'm on stage and I've been doing this for years and I can't do it right now.
It seems like one of the things you're saying is that maybe there were unexpected outcomes of being successful.
Yeah.
Because I think whenever we think about becoming successful in life, you know, whether you're that person who's going to go be the CEO of that organization, whether, you know, you're a great football player, whether you're an artist, it was almost like the stakes were a lot lower before. So if you fell, it was
Nothing
just a
to
little
lose.
stumble, right?
Yeah.
But as you move on up, this idea that, oh my God, what if I suddenly fail or stumble? And I think that's something that we can all really relate to. But what comes out in your story is that when we are able to hear ourselves and to see the ways in which we're changing and not being our full selves, we're able to address it.
I'm really proud of myself. I'm proud of how far I've come. I'm proud of my achievements, you know. I'm proud of all those little steps. I'm proud of the 1 kg I lose and the 1 kg I pick up. I'm really proud of that, and I'm trying to be in a space where I'm not so critical about myself, and I'm just like, everything you've done has been dope, dude. Like, relax, well done. There's a chain of other women that stand behind us that we don't know are there. You know, I don't know my biological mom, but I know that when she gave me up for adoption, she wanted a better life. So I'm proud that I've kind of lived up to those expectations, and I will continue to do so in her honor, you know, just like, you did the right thing, so I'm gonna keep proving that to you, you know. I'm proud of not giving up. Okay, wow, let me stop. Like, yeah.
Well, I'm really proud of you as well, if I might say so, for not giving up. And listening to you talk, there was something that Maya Angelou always used to say. She would say that I come as one, but I stand as 10,000.
100%.
And as you're here, it's clear that there are definitely 10,000 women who are standing behind you.
Like, literally, I wish we could see them, but they're there.
They're there.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that you're going to be one of the 10,000 women that stand behind the rest of us. So thanks so much for this conversation.
Thank you
today.
so much. That was so
Appreciate you.
beautiful. Thank you.
Can we hug it out?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can. Thank you so much.
Thank you.